Yo, it's your boy J Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, episode 21. Okay, I want to apologize to all my Christian followers and to God. I want to apologize because last episode I did not do the whole. I want to thank God for waking me up this morning. I didn't do that. I've done that with every single episode, but I did not do it. Last episode, I just forgot. It slipped my mind. So let me go ahead and do it for this episode and last episode. I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without him, I would not be here right now. Okay, so today's episode, straight to the point. I'm just gonna give y'all my picks for this weekend, for divisional round weekend. It's not gonna be a long episode. It should be short. It's not just standard 30 minutes. It should be maybe 15, maybe close to 10 minutes. I'm not gonna be that long. I'm just gonna give y'all my picks and why. So real quick, let me give y'all my the games for divisional round weekend. We got the Jaguars at the Chiefs tomorrow at 3:30. Then you got the Giants at the Eagles tomorrow at 7:15. Then on Sunday you got the Bengals and the Bills at 3:30. And then the Cowboys and the 49ers at 7:15. All right, so let's get straight to the point, man. Tomorrow, Jaguars and the Chiefs. I gotta pick the Chiefs, okay? I love the Jaguars. They had a great year this year. Like I said in the last episode, they went from the worst team in the league last year to actually winning a playoff game this year. That's a huge accomplishment. So Doug Peterson should be in the Coach of the Year running. If he doesn't win, if it goes to Brian Dable, coach for the Giants, then he should just be in the running for it because he took a bottom team, literally at the bottom, and they won the division. And they went in the playoffs and got him a W. So that's a successful season in my opinion. There's levels to this, right? Some teams the goal is to win a Super Bowl. Some teams the goal is to win a playoff game. Some teams the goal is just to get to the playoffs. Some teams this team's goal was just to have a 500 record in my opinion. There was no expectation. Nobody thought they would be here right now. So I just want to give them a shout out. It's a great season. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, y'all have a bright future in Jacksonville. But tomorrow I got to go with the Chiefs. So I think that road, that Cinderella story does end tomorrow. But if they want to make it close or have a chance to win, there is a way you can do that. And I went and I did some research. I went digging. And when Travis Kelce should be circled on everyone's game plan when you go against the Chiefs. Okay, so Jacksonville have to eliminate Travis Kelce if you want to win. Now this stat is a little misleading, but stick with me and you'll understand where I'm coming from. So Travis Kelce, okay, tight end for the Chiefs, the best tight end in the league, in games this year when he was held under 60 yards. Okay, so when teams held him to less than 60 yards, they went 5-2. Okay, the Chiefs went 5-2, but listen to the scores. Okay, against the Chargers, they only won 27-24. He had 51 yards. Okay, against the Colts, they lost 20-17. He had 58 yards. Against the Raiders, they beat the Raiders, but they only beat them 30-29. And we all remember that game on Monday Night Football whenever the Raiders just collapsed. The Raiders had a big lead, and they ended up collapsing against the Chiefs. And that in that game as well, he had 25 yards, but he also had 4 touchdowns in the red zone. Okay, so a part of eliminating Travis Kelce is not only holding his yards down, but when you get into the red zone, you have to double team him. Do not leave him single team. Do not run a zone. If I run a zone, I have to have somebody trailing him because he is that big of a factor for this offense. So in that game, it was close. The Rams aren't a good team, but that game was close until the Chiefs pulled away. So the Chiefs won that game 26-10. He had 57 yards. Then they lost to the Bengals. He had 56 yards. They lost 24-27. And then they beat the Broncos 27-24. He only had 43 yards. And then they beat the Raiders at the end of the season. The Raiders, they had got rid of Derek Carr, so that organization was going downhill at that point. But they won 31-13, but he had 38 yards. But most of these games were a possession or even 1 point, right? So if you're the Jaguars, you just want to give yourself a chance to win this game. And in order to have a chance, you have to limit Travis Kelce. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, right? But if it's me, I'm double teaming him every single play. Make someone else beat. Make Juju go out there and have 100 yards. Make Scott Moore go out there and have 100 yards. Make Kadarius Toney have 100. Let somebody else beat me. I'm Cole Hardman. I don't care who it is. Let somebody else beat me. Do not let Travis Kelce beat me. Yes, Mahomes is good enough to win with somebody else, but just don't let Travis Kelce have one of those big games because you have no chance of winning. So your best chance is to hold him under 60 yards, okay? Just double team the man. And also, the Chiefs are 18th in passing yards allowed. The Chiefs' passing defense is not that good, especially in the secondary, right? They have Chris Jones who can get pressure a lot, but in the secondary, they don't have any studs. They don't have anybody that I would be scared to throw the ball to. So this could be a day where Trevor Lawrence has to go toe to toe with Mahomes. Not saying they're gonna win it, but he might have to grow up this game and might have to have a great game for them to have a chance at winning. But then again, the Jaguars, they get 4.7 yards per carry. Okay, so you can also run the ball, try to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, right? Those are ways you can try to limit this team from running the score up on you. But it's in Arrowhead, it's in Kansas City, so I gotta go with the Chiefs. But if there was a team that could potentially upset them, I gotta go with the Jaguars because I trust Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach who turned this team around. I would trust his game plan going into this game against the Chiefs for them to have a chance. So I'm picking the Chiefs, but I'm not saying it's gonna be a blowout. Okay, the Jaguars want to have a chance, limit Travis Kelce, run the ball, but then again you can beat them through the air because their secondary is not that good. Okay, so I got the Chiefs in that game. The next game is the Giants and the Eagles. I gotta go with the Eagles. Okay, look, this Daniel Jones hype after one good game. He had a pretty good year, right? It wasn't compared to his other years. He had a pretty good year. Okay, it wasn't a lot of lost fumbles, wasn't a lot of interceptions this year. He played very well this year, but last game was a game that I've never seen from Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had a great game, and I'm not gonna sit here and say, okay, now he's their guy because of one good game. That's just not me. The same thing with Dak Prescott, right? Dak Prescott had one good game. People are raving that he's the Cowboys guy. No, I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt after one game, okay? But in this game, I got to go with the Eagles. The Eagles are the better team. Okay, the Eagles also, it should be a mismatch. Okay, the Eagles defense is way better than the Vikings defense. But real quick, I'm going to tell you how Daniel Jones did last game. He had 68.6 completion percentage, right, which is great. He had 301 passing yards, which is great. He had 2 touchdowns, and then he had 114 QBR, quarterback rating. Okay, so he had a great game. But we have to look at who he played. He played a Vikings team that all year I've been saying are quote-unquote frauds. They're not that good of a team. They're not a threat in my opinion. This whole year they was the number 2 seed. And I kept telling people, man, I'm not picking them to go to a Super Bowl. I'm not picking them to go to a conference championship. I'm picking them to lose in the first round, no matter who they play, because this team it's just frauds, right? This is the definition of I had a great year, but none of those wins meant nothing because it didn't change my mind about how this team is. But the Vikings defense was 31st in yards allowed, passing yards allowed this year. So they're at the bottom of the league when it comes to passing yards allowed, but the Eagles are first in yards allowed. The Eagles are also first in sacks. Okay, so Daniel Jones will have a rough day against this defense. Now Jalen Hurts, he's hurt, right? His shoulder, I don't think it's 100%, but I still think it's good enough to get past the Giants this week. Yes, it's a division game, but I think this is going to be a David versus the Goliath kind of matchup. And I believe David is just too big for Goliath in this scenario. This is not the Bible, okay? Ain't no slingshot out here. This is going to be the Eagles just being a better team than the Giants. So I don't think the Giants even have a chance in this one. I think they also had one of them seasons like the Jaguars. If they lose tomorrow, then we're not going to say, oh, y'all suck or y'all did terrible. Y'all had a great year. Y'all got to the playoffs. Y'all won a round, right? Nobody thought y'all would be here, just like the Jaguars. So y'all had a great season. Good job to Brian Dable. Good job to Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. If Daniel Jones is y'all guy, if y'all think he's y'all guy, then go with him. But I don't think he is. But y'all had a good year. So it's going to end tomorrow, but y'all had a great year. Okay, so I'm going to go with the Eagles, and I think that's one of the no-brainer. That's probably the most lopsided game, in my opinion. Only because the Eagles defense is so dominant and the Eagles offense is so good. The Chiefs offense is great, but the Chiefs defense is not that good in my opinion. So I think the Jaguars have a shot. I don't think the Giants have a chance at all. So I'm going with the Eagles in that game. So on Sunday we got the Bengals and the Bills. This might be the best game of the week in my opinion because we got two teams that's pretty balanced, but my pick is because of weaknesses, okay? The Bengals O-line, okay? 3 out of 5 of their starters are not playing this weekend. So you have 3 backups in a huge playoff game against the Bills defense that's actually pretty good. The Bills defense, okay, is tied. They're really 14th when it comes to sacks, but they're tied with 3 other teams with 40 sacks. So this team can get after the quarterback. So Joe Burrow might just be uncomfortable this whole entire game. Not saying he can get the job done while being uncomfortable, but I'm looking at him being uncomfortable versus the Bengals defense is 29th in sacks, right? They don't really get a lot of sacks. So I'm looking at a comfortable Josh Allen versus an uncomfortable Joe Burrow. I got to go with Josh Allen in this game. And not just that, last week, Tyler Huntley had a great game against his Bengals defense. Yes, it's a divisional game. It's a division game, right? Two division rivals. But in the playoffs, it's man against boys, right? If my team is way better than you, I gotta show it. And I think that Bengals team was way better than the Ravens team, but they didn't show it. Okay, I look at Tyler Huntley with 17 for 29, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, a lost fumble. Of course, I lost the game, but a QBR of 92. He was throwing to people like Mark Andrews, Demarcus Robinson, Josh Oliver, Sammy Watkins. Like, who are these guys, right? Except for Mark Andrews. Who are these guys? I'm looking at Josh Allen, who has Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox, even his escapability and his ability to run the ball. So, with Josh Allen's ability to run the ball. So, I'm looking at the matchup versus the defense. And I think the Bills defense is better than the Bengals defense. And I think Joe Burrow will be more uncomfortable than Josh Allen. So I got to go with Josh Allen and the Bills. But the Bills could possibly lose this game if Josh Allen does not take care of the ball. Okay, he had like 3 turnovers last game, and that kept the Dolphins in the game. So if you keep Joe Burrow in this game with turnovers, then you might just lose it, right? And this game is also big because, the whole Damar Hamlin incident happened when it was the Bengals versus the Bills, right? And that game wasn't finished. So I think it's going to be a lot of emotions on that field because they both went through a traumatic experience, a very bad experience. So I think that this is going to be a huge game emotion-wise, right? But if Josh Allen can take care of the ball, they should be able to beat the Bengals. But if Josh Allen can't take care of the ball, you leave Joe Burrow comfortable, leave them in a one-possession game, Joe Burrow could get the job done. Not to mention he has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, right? The offense is loaded. But the O-line, 3 out of 5 is missing. Okay, so the Bills up front, they should be able to get pressure on Joe Burrow the whole entire game. So I just got to go with the Bills, and the Bills are at home. So I think the Bills are the choice for me. I'm not going to say the obvious choice, right, because it could be a really good game, but I'm just going to go with the Bills in this one. And then we got the Cowboys at San Francisco. Cowboy Nation, the road ends here. This is my lock of the week. I'm not even gonna lock in the Jaguars game. I'm not gonna lock in the Giants game. I'm locking this one in because there's no way Dak Prescott goes to San Francisco and plays good against this defense. But before I get to the 49ers defense, let me just talk about this 49ers offense. Okay, Kyle Shanahan is the best offensive mind that I've ever seen in my life watching football. Hands down, no questions asked. The team's on an 11-game win streak. Brock Purdy is 6-0. Okay, Brock Purdy, 7th round pick, the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, is 6-0, and it has a lot to do with Kyle Shanahan. So first of all, the Cowboys played a lopsided offense with the Bucs, right? The Bucs, they can't run the ball, they can only throw the ball. This offense can run and throw it. This offense gets 4.7 yards per carry. So Christian McCaffrey is going to be busy. But we're looking at the Bucs offense that they just played, they only averaged 3.4 yards per carry. So you went against a team that knew they couldn't run. You knew they couldn't run. So guess what? Michael Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, y'all just go after Tom Brady all day. We're going to drop back, get ready for the pass because this team cannot run the ball. Now, the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan is going to keep you on your toes. Are they going to run it? Are they going to pass it? Are they going to play action it? This offense is very unstoppable. Something that I also looked up. Over their last 7 games, okay, the 49ers are averaging 396 yards per game, as well as 34.5 points per game. Guys, this offense is just so elite. They have weapons everywhere. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, even Rashawn Jennings, one of their backup receivers. They are very loaded. And Brock Purdy is not a great quarterback. Don't get it twisted. Brock Purdy is not top 10, not top 15. But his job is so easy because you have the weapons, plus you have the coach. And this is why Kyle Shanahan is so good, because 1/3 of Brock Purdy's 30 passing attempts, so 10 of his passing attempts against the Seahawks went to targets that had at least 5 yards of separation. So I'm throwing it to open receivers. I'm throwing it to open tight end. I'm throwing it to open running backs because my offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, is drawing them open. So Brock Purdy's job is super duper easy. Kyle Shanahan is doing a great job. He's having his quarterback throw to open people. Like, that's just, you can win with any quarterback in that situation. So Kyle Shanahan, hats off to you. But then it's 49ers defense. 49ers defense lead the league in interceptions. Dak Prescott leads the league in interceptions thrown. So you have a quarterback that's turnover prone. He didn't turn the ball over last game because the Bucks just don't get turned. The Bucks was 26th in interceptions. They don't get turnovers. The Bucks defense was just bad this year. You're going against the best defense in the league who creates turnovers. Dak is going to throw a pick this week. If you have a bet, look, if you make bets, bet that Dak throws an interception because I promise you he's going to. And if he don't, he's going to get sacked at least 4 to 5 times because this defense has Nick Bosa. Okay. Nick Bosa has 18 and a half sacks. Nick Bosa is your defensive player of the year. I'm stamping it right here. Even though I'm a Steelers fan, we got Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm going with Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa has 18 and a half sacks. The Bucks' top 3 sack leaders on the team combined for 18 and a half. Vita Vea, Devin White, and Anthony Nelson, 7.5, 5.5, 5.5 combined equals 18 and a half, which is the amount that Nick Bosa by himself has. Nick Bosa is going to tear this game apart. He didn't play a Nick Bosa last week. There was nobody that was constantly getting pressure, constantly in Dak Prescott's face. But you're going against Nick Bosa this week. So Dak Prescott is going to be under duress. He's going to throw an interception or 2. He's going to get sacked a lot. I think this game might be close when it comes to the score, but I think they're going to get whooped. Okay, I'm not even going to, it's going to be a 2-possession game or more. It's not going to be 1 possession. It's not going to be close. I think the 49ers are going to whoop the Cowboys because of matchups. We're looking at Nick Bosa versus that O-line. I'm looking at Dak Prescott versus that defense. I trust Brock Purdy way more than I trust Dak. Not talent-wise, right? Dak might be better arm-wise, but Brock Purdy just has the weapons and has the O-line and has the offensive coordinator to go out there and tear that Dallas defense up. And Dallas, y'all pass rush is pretty good, but guess what else is pretty good? That 49ers O-line. Okay, Trent Williams and them boys, they're going to get their hands on Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. They're going to keep Brock Purdy nice and clean. He should be able to make the passes to open receivers like I just read that Kyle Shanahan creates. And Christian McCaffrey should get busy on the ground. So you have to stop the run and the pass. So good luck, Cowboy Nation. But y'all are going home. And that whole Super Bowl run that y'all think y'all on comes to an end this weekend in the Bay Area. All right, but that is it for this episode. I told y'all I was going to be quick. I'm just going to give y'all my picks and get up out of here. All right, so much love to y'all. Y'all stay safe. Y'all enjoy this divisional round weekend. And I'll see y'all next week to recap it. I'm out.